We need it. Oxygen. It's why we breathe.
Welcome back to the Grit Files. It's been a minute or 10 or 20 or maybe even 100. Been a little while. COVID kind of got in the way of all of the plans I had, but I remain undaunted. And so we are resuming Grit Files. You can stay tuned every week for exciting new content. And this week, we are here with Brilly Semenova. She is a self-advocate for the disabled, supporting people in special education, transition services, counseling, individual family members, and organizations. Just a wealth of knowledge here. So Brilly, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Dr. Loralyn. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, why don't you tell the audience a little bit first about your background and why you've gotten into this path of self-advocacy?
Sure. So like Dr. Loralyn mentioned, my name is Brilly. I'm a self-advocate. Growing up with a physical disability, I have noticed the challenges families and individuals face on a day-to-day basis. So knowing that I have my own challenges obtaining resources and supports, I decided to go in the path of education and consultings where I can help families and organizations understand what they need to do when they're working with families and individuals with disabilities and how to apply for services and when to apply for services.
Now, what our audience may not know, but I know you've shared publicly, so I feel confident
Yes.
not betraying, any truths here or secrets. Brilly has cerebral palsy. And on top of that, what's made her even more amazing, besides that she's a complete wealth of information, is that she's not only completed her undergraduate and done minors in special education, working organizational design, she's doing her master's now. Brilly, you want to talk a little bit about the education that you're doing and where you're at?
Yes, I'm pursuing my master's in organizational leadership and nonprofit management at Penn State University. I'm hoping to be graduating with that degree within a year. And upon my graduation, I'm looking to work with organizations that serve individuals with disabilities and help those organizations streamline and be better communicative with individuals with disabilities.
So it's all about teaching people what they need to know, because I've known, like in our journey that we've had together, so many people, I mean, myself included, don't know what we don't know. So how do you get people up to speed and say, hey, this is some information you're considering hiring a person with a disability? This is what you need to know. Or, hey, you are a person or a family supporting a child with a disability. This is what you need to know. How do you get all your information and get that information over to people?
So I do it in several different ways. One, I can do it a one-on-one session with the individual, or I can hold webinars for organizations and identify what is it that they want to know first. Do they want to know the accommodation portion, or do they want to know how to employ someone with a disability, how to hold interview sessions? So it's really what the organization is looking for. And then I would identify the webinars to those areas.
Now, one of the things I think that really needs a shout out here is you're at Penn State University, and I've personally worked with some of Brilly's professors, particularly Dr. Eric Bergstrom, Dr. William Rothwell. These are luminaries in their field of organizational design and development. I mean, you can Google them, and I don't even know how many books come up, but a lot.
Yes.
Right, a lot.
Several books that they have written.
That's right. And with these books that are all coming up that you see, they've got this deep expertise in knowing how to bring organizations together. Let's talk about Penn State and how accommodating that you've been or that they've been to your needs. Let's talk about that, because they really deserve a shout out.
Yes, big shout out to the individuals in the all individuals, but specifically the individuals in the master's program, Dr. Wes Donahue, Dr. Eric Bergstrom, who's taken the lead in assisting me in any way that possible when it comes to accommodations at any given time of the day, whether it's me calling them or emailing them, setting up one-on-one calls with them, explaining what I need, helping me understand the materials in a way where it's more accommodating with my technology. I depend on technology to help me write. So those professors are not just the professors, but they're professors who really care about you.
Oh, genuinely, like
Yeah.
I've seen it. I've seen emails coming from them 11 o'clock at night, 12 midnight, 1 in the morning. They're like, okay, Brilly, I know the assignment that we have for you. Your technology can't process it because she relies on voice technology and voice to text, like dictation, right?
Yes.
And she's got this evil software named Dragon, which just we make jokes about because it's really hard to use.
It could be that it's there, but it could be very challenging because it picks up very different voices at any given time. It's very sensitive.
And what it doesn't do, Dragon's not a very good speller, I've noticed.
Yes. Yes. So you have to be very patient and persistent.
But it's also hard because you can't easily export the content that's in Dragon into a document and then allow that in a document to do spelling checks and grammar checks. Like the technology, it's not all compatible. So it's kind of a nightmare to be able to submit an assignment. We take it for granted. Oh, write it up in Word or whatever we're using, and then boom, hit submit, call it done, run some Grammarly on it. Yeah, it's good. But you can't do that with the disability technology that Brilly has.
Yeah. You have to prepare your voice for it, and it could be a long time training, but don't give up. It can work if you're very persistent.
And I've also seen some of the toll that it's taken on you personally now on the flip side, where her professors are being incredibly accommodating, where they're even dictating and putting the assignments into a way that her technology can be able to absorb and process, and then adjusting how she's receiving that information so that she can then turn the assignment around and send it back to them. I've noticed many times, I've had calls with Brilly at the end of the day, and her voice is barely there because you've been dictating assignments all day.
Yeah. Yeah. But it gets done. Once you work with the right professors and you get what you need ahead of time, you can really easily do your assignments online with the support that you need. Don't take it for granted. Online education is available, especially after COVID. It has pivoted us to learn how to do it online.
And one of the things too that a lot of employers or professors and that don't realize is that the weather can wreak havoc on somebody that has physical disability limitations, autoimmune diseases, these kinds of things. And it's nice to see that there's been some level of accommodation for that.
Yes, it has been very grateful, especially for the professors. They understand if they see that you're motivated and you want to work, you want to achieve a good grade, they will work with you. As soon as you show them that you're a motivated student and that you really want to achieve and get your degree, the professors will work with you.
So you've heard it here first. Penn State, rah, rah, right? So fantastic. Well, let's switch gears away from some of the education, talk about some of the things. So you have challenges. We talked about even especially like when the weather is crap on those like awful rainy days that none of us want to get out of bed. You have a really hard time doing that with all of the hardware that you wear to get going and that you need. Talk to us about how you dig in and find that resilience and that motivation to keep going on those tough days when no one wants to get out of bed, especially you when you're hurting.
So one of the things that I know that has worked for me for many years is that I'm very persistent, and then I know to work ahead of time, and I'm motivated. So if I know the weather is going to be bad or something, I try to get things done ahead of time. So if there's a bad day, I don't have to worry about doing an assignment or something. I can just take it slowly and still do the reading portion while laying in bed, or like taking time to start late, but not be so concerned because I know that somewhere around the way, people will need my services. So what's motivating me is that I'm making the difference in the community.
You absolutely are. I mean, this is a gal that's pretty much got like everybody on speed dial that you need to know, the disability community. She's fantastic. She's been a tremendous support to steer us, and I'm really grateful for all that she does. So I just want to put that out there. Now, some other questions. If I gave you, I'm going to use my little mouse here, an undo button, and you got to hit it once and undo one thing in your life, what would you undo?
I would undo the path when we are high school students. The things that I learned my own way. There are some great professors and educators, but honestly, get to start to explore and network early. Don't wait until your junior or senior year. Get out there in the community, get to be known, get to know how to give back. the things that I have learned, I had to circle around on my own. I was not known to new, financial literacy courses or something like that. That was not available in high school. I basically saw it myself by researching.
And that's it. Just always being proactive,
Yeah.
never giving up, going out and finding information. It's out there. You got to,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's great. Now, if we took that advice and sort of flipped it around, that's what you're looking back and you'd want to undo. If you wanted to give advice to anyone out there, be it the organizations who are looking to hire people with disabilities, or to other folks with disabilities, or people without disabilities, whomever you want to project your advice to, what do you want to say?
Sure. And I'll keep this general. Anybody who's watching this video, don't judge the person by just looking at them. Get to know the person. Establish that relationship before you even make any recommendations. We all have some sort of struggles. It may not be physical. It may not, whatever it is. Get to know the individual. Establish that relationship. Feel comfortable asking questions, because by you not asking questions, you may not know what to do to help them, or you may not even realize that you're hurting them because you don't know what they're going through on a day-to-day basis.
Now, our last question to bring this home, we always ask every guest on the Grit Files, if there was a pair of shoes that either they had in their closet or they could design that represents their personality. Like mine, of course, would have glitter everywhere, and it would, a glitter bomb, right? I mean, that's just me. Tell us about your personality pairs of shoes.
I am the type of person that's always outgoing, friendly, positive. So I would make it a more positive environment, happy, where if someone's having a bad day, this would brighten their day.
So your shoes would probably have yellow happy faces all over them?
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty much Brilly. So that's a wrap, everyone. Thank you so much for your patience as I've suffered the wrath of COVID, not once, not twice, but 3 times over the last, little bit, but very happy to bring the Grit Files back. And Brilly, I want to thank you again for all that you do for Steeris, all that you do for the disability community, and just every way that you're supporting all of us.
And I thank you for having me.
She's also supporting Helpopedia, which is the nonprofit that we've co-founded with Phil Vetrano and a whole bunch of amazing other people. So stay tuned for that, because that's going to be, we envision, the one-stop shop in the world to be able to access free resources. One stop for help. No ask for help goes unheard. So look out for that too. Helpopedia.
And how about that fantastic intro by Touch Circle?